All right, Shalom, and welcome. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Hashem Rachak Wadash. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles of GMS who rule well, and also honor and salutations to those of you who are of the hopeful elect and are out there teaching the word in sincerity and truth. All right, so today I wanted to talk about Nathaniel and some of the recent things that he said. Some of the recent things he said, some of the things he said in the past, and touch on it a little bit. There's no doubt in my mind that he is not a man of the Lord, and maybe he'll break out of the state that he's in, right? But as of right now, he is not doing the work of the Lord righteously. I'll say it like that. For the most part, we've ignored him, right? And really, there, but for a time there was a back and forth of sorts, right? Our comments would be directly towards him, but when you hear them making their comments, it'd be some like sideways, snide remark. These other guys, or those guys over there, or something like that. That's not Nate's voice. That's the Levite cat that's over there with them. But they would make some sideways remark, and it'd be this. There was this back and forth between the two camps, right? But lately it hasn't been like that. And I mentioned this in one of the last videos that I did, and I'm sure everybody has seen it by now. He was being interviewed by some lady. I don't know exactly who she was or who the interview was for, but she questioned him about some brothers that had been arrested, and she made the assumption that those brothers learned from Nathaniel, right? People from the outside looking in, regardless of who you say you're involved with, they all look at it as the same thing. And Nate wasn't. Not only was he quick to disassociate himself with the brothers, but he took the men that are associated with those brothers and tried to slander them. And I bring that up because this mentality, right, that which is really pure hatred, right? I can honestly say that when we come out and we say anything against any other camp, not just him, but any other camp, it is solely to tell the truth of the matter and the truth of the matter only. It's never a personal attack. We might tease and say his name funny, or make a funny name for him, or we might like I was just making fun of the accent of the Levite brother that's there with them, or the Levite man. I shouldn't say brother, he's not my brother, but the Levite man that's over there with them. We call the other dude the lemur, right? So we have this banter, right, that we express, but it's never personal, right? But what have they done? You got it's been brought out that the lemur was calling people's jobs. It's been brought out that they've disguised their voices to do shows in regards to us, and for them you can see that there's something personal there, right? And this is the same mentality that the scribes and Pharisees have. This venom that the scribes and Pharisees had for our Lord Yahweh Shai. And it's no different. It's no different. And I was I was reading through the scriptures, and there's many examples of the connection between the Pharisees during the time of Yahushua and IUIC now. There's many scriptures, but I'm gonna read just a couple here, and then I'll move on to the something else that I want to mention. So let me go first to I'll go here first. This is what is it? Was it John 11 and what verse was it? 45. I was gonna say 45. John 11 and 45. So let me see if I can go up a little bit. No, I'll start there then. It says this. It says, then many of the Jews which came to Mary had seen the things which Yahushua did. Sorry. Let me read that again. It says, then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had believed the things which Yahushua did, believed on him. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahushua had done. And then gathered the chief priests and Pharisees, a council, and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. Right. So the Pharisees, their concern was how the Romans perceived them, and whether or not they would lose their position and good fortune with the Romans. Man, that was what they were concerned with, right? And they, in every way, tried to disassociate themselves with the Lord Yahushua, right? They tried to confound him. They tried to make him into a liar. They, of course, eventually, as the story goes, if you read in the scriptures, they were able to get false witnesses and falsely accuse him before, Pilate and so forth and so on. So they wanted to disassociate from anything that was against their comfort that they had. The comfort that they had established with the Romans, right? And that venom is the same venom that Nate had, right? The lady asked him a question, and you can see him. I should have pulled the video up. I'm not going to go to it now. You can go to it yourselves. But you can see him. He couldn't wait to respond so that he could make it clear that those men had nothing to do with him. He wanted to make it abundantly clear. And I keep saying this, right? I've said this several times in several shows that I've done and at camp, that when Esau comes in like a flood, right? When we read 2nd Ezra 16, 70, around the 70th verse, where it says that there was an insurrection upon those that feared the Lord, right? You're not going to be able to tell Esau, and this is to Nathaniel Seven's IUIC camp, right? I'm saying this to everybody that's in there underneath him, right? And granted, I know most of you probably won't watch, right? But I'm going to say this anyway in hopes that you hear this. You're not going to be able to say, it wasn't me, it was GMS. You're not going to be able to say that. Like, you have to understand something, right? When you're on the phone and you hear that little echo of your own voice on the phone, that's because your phone is tapped. When you go and you search on Google Hebrew Israelites, when you type in IUIC in your search engines on YouTube, if you use the Blue Letter Bible, if you do anything concerning understanding or coming back to being an Israelite, you are a marked man. And don't think anything otherwise. And there's nothing you can say, especially not, oh, it was GMS. GMS did it. I wasn't a part of GMS. And that's what this environment is going to make you believe. This behavior from your leader is going to make you believe that you can disassociate yourself from us, but you can't. You can't. If you're calling yourself an Israelite, if you're wearing garments, if you're wearing a border of blue, that's their concern. Their concern is not how you believe. Their concern is what you believe. And you believing and you understanding that you're an Israelite is not good for them. And by them, I mean the so-called white men, the Edomites, the powers that be, the elite bankers, whatever you want to call them, the Illuminati. It is not good for them for you to be able to say your true nationality and to come back to your true power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It's not good for them. And they are going to persecute you as hardly and as fervently and as vehemently as they do us, man. Right? But again, he immediately tried to disassociate himself, just like they did here. They weren't worried about whether or not he was telling the truth. They were worried about how they were perceived by the Romans. You see? So let me go to this other scripture, right? I want to show you one how Yahushua felt about the scribes and Pharisees, but some of these things that he says about them, just one of the things I learned about myself being in this truth, right? I learn I can very quickly learn something by an analogy or a metaphor or a simile or however, whatever word you want to use for the art of a parable, right? I learned very quickly that way, and it came to a point where I used to argue back and forth with my oldest son's mother, because I used to. That's like saying, let me slow down a little bit. I used to say things like, that's like saying, boom, 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 to compare, to the situation that was at hand, so that I can understand it. And she took offense to it, like, I don't need you to compare nothing. That's what she always used to say to me, right? But I do that not to insult someone's intelligence, but to understand, what I'm saying and what the situation is, right? So I bring that up to say this, right? Reincarnation is a lot like a parable, and is a lot like a metaphor or a simile, because much like a metaphor and a parable, it has to be consistent, right? The characteristics of the principles of your analogy have to be the same as the thing you're comparing it to, right? So if you hear something like the kingdom of heaven is likened unto 3 measures of meal, in which was hidden the leaven until the whole was leavened, right? When you understand that parable, it's talking about the 3 tribes that stayed in the land, right? Until the whole nation of Israel comes back as a whole, right? So that's a consistent analogy. That's a consistent parable. And reincarnation is the same way, because people are going to fit. Matter of fact, let me open up one more of these. People are going to fit into what they are, right? Because of this. Let me show you this. Was Daniel 12. This is Daniel 12 and 13. It says, "But go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of days." Right? Let's look up that word. I never looked that word up before. Lot. Ga wa ra la. Ga wa ra. Ga wa ra. Let's play it.
Strong's H 1486. Goral. Goral.
Right, which is lot, lot of pebbles used for systematically making decisions. Portion, right? Lot, portion, thing assigned by casting lots. Recompense, retribution, right? So in this case, this is what it's talking about. Your position, right, in this truth is assigned to you. This is how we were able to figure out things like Peter being King David in the reincarnation, right? And other men that we know in modern times, who they were in ancient times, because of their characteristics. If their actions are consistent with what they did in their previous life, that's what helps us to connect it, right? Matter of fact, I got another one. This is First Corinthians what is it? Is that 14? Right, 14 and 32. And the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets, right? So whatever you did in ancient times, you were going to come back and do again, right? So I say that to say we're gonna look at some of these things, right? Because one thing that Nathaniel had said once before was that, not him. I didn't hear it out of his mouth. I actually heard it out of the Levite guy I was talking about mouth, where he said that GMS is the scribes and Pharisees. Well, let's lay it out, right? Let's look at the evidence and see what the scribes and Pharisees did, and see which of the two are doing these things, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and start. This is Matthew 23:1. It says, "Then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, The scribes and Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore, whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not." You see, and this is true in this case, because why? What does IUIC harp on? Where's your garment? Where's your fringes? Where's your border of blue? Right, harping on the law, statutes, and commandments, right? But they're walking infractions to the law. When you get your hair lined, here it is. You have this Levite guy, right? He has a receding hairline, right? If you look at the ancient icons of Saint Nicholas, where you got that cul-de-sac going on up there, which I can't talk because my shit is getting ready to go too. But the point I'm making is this: you have this cul-de-sac, your hairline is receding, but you had the audacity to line the sides of it up. So they're walking infractions, right? They tell you what you should do, but they themselves don't follow what they tell you to do. And this was Yahushua's biggest issue with him. And as you go through this, you're going to see his biggest issue with them was their hypocrisy. Them telling people to do something that they themselves don't do. Right? So who fits that? Right? I've never, I think I can speak for many men when I say this. I've never seen the elder apostles who have taught us this word tell us to do anything that they haven't done first, that they haven't vetted out through their life experiences first, whether it be going out on the highways and byways through the winter, or just wearing plain, simple garments and having simple signs to go out on the highways and byways, right? What else? The way you treat your wife or your women, the way you treat your mothers and fathers, all these things that they've taught us, they themselves, they do, right? Here, imagine this, right? The order had gone out to do 3 shows a week. How many do you see them do? Sometimes 2 a day, but at least 1 a day, 7 days a week, toiling, working every day, right? So they never put a burden on us that they themselves not only were willing to meet but exceed, right? So there's your comparison there. In this case, have you ever, and you really couldn't say, right, because you're not around us, but I see enough from you where I can say that you're telling people to keep the law, but you yourselves don't keep it, because you getting lined up, and not all of them. They don't all get lined up, right? But we've all seen them, right? So let's keep going. And it looks like I can make another topic out of this. I didn't realize I had gone for this long, but yeah, I'll save that second part for another topic, another show. So this is continuing on. It says, "For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne." Actually, no, because now I have to say this. No, you know what? I don't. Right? "For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on man's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers." Right? So let's keep going. It says, "But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments. Right? So let's do this. I want to see something. Right? Let's just check something out. Great millstone. Right? Let's see. Let's see if these men are as the scripture says. Let me read it verbatim. Make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments. Let's see if Great Millstone is doing that. Let's look at some images. Let's see. Right? Look at this. You know, just some simple garments. Look at this, hanging off the shoulder a little bit. No offense to the elder apostle Rhyme Love, that's my man. But you know, I'm trying to make a point. I felt bad about saying that. Right? Look, just simple garments. Right? Look, brother got a simple garment on. This fucking demon. I don't know why he even showed up. Look at, you know, just something simple. You know, simple. You know, just simple garments, right? All right. Now let's go to let's type in IUIC. It's purple. That means I done did this already. So look at this. Look at the difference, right? Look at they got a production company. They must a production team or something. Look at them standing there with their arms folded. Ain't about shit. Don't know not one scripture. Look at this. Look at this shit. This dude. Oh boy, this dude ain't even with them no more. There go Levi right there. Got the beard lined up, no hair up top, but you got everything else lined up. Once you get to this, it's time to give up, man. You still lining up trying to be handsome. That's let me stop, man, 'cause my shit getting ready to go too. Let me stop. I'm talking shit now, but yeah, look at, you know, perfectly lined up beard. You know, look at these dudes, man. Look at these dudes, and these guys have no clue. They have no clue. They really believe that they're doing the right thing, right? Which is sad, but true. Look, they must not have graduated yet. He don't got to right. But look at make broad their phylacteries, right? Everybody got the same. Look, they got you know. Look at these pictures. You know, look at this dude. Got the girdle on the whole nine. If I wasn't mistaken, he trying to look like Yahushua. You see? Imagine that. See? So they make broad their phylacteries, man. You see? And the truth is very simple. You don't have any pressure on you to look a certain way, because all that's desired of you is just to tell the truth. Okay, so let me keep going. This is verse 6. It says, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts and the chief seats in the synagogues. Right? Look how they if you look at their class, I'm tired of looking at these niggas, tell you the truth, but maybe they got a picture of one of the classes on here, because what they do is they'll sit up on the podium, you know, right here, right? They'll sit up on this podium looking down at the rest of the class, right? Meanwhile, when you see our elder apostles, they be right in the mix of things with us, man. I'm gonna say this, man. This is just my own personal testimony, and this was many years ago, but I want to say it again anyway. You had when the YouTube thing first got popping with the elder apostles being on GMS, that first Great Millstone channel. I meant to say being on YouTube, but that first Great Millstone channel. Something I don't know the exact details of what happened, but for whatever reason, they had that first time where they had got removed somehow from 34th and 7th. And moved to, they were moving to all kinds of different locations, but 34th and 7th has a prominence to it, if you will, right? There's been movies made about that corner, not necessarily regarding the elder apostles, but there was this miracle on 34th Street and things of that nature. There's been movies made about that location. It's probably one of the most famous shopping districts in the country, right? And when they moved to another position, another camp that wasn't as luxurious or didn't have the same luster to it, and still was out there teaching amongst the other brothers, I knew in my heart that they were sincere men. I knew in my heart that it wasn't about the fame, and it wasn't about the luster of being in a popular place, and the fame that came from "You're a Slut" video, and none of that mattered to them. The only thing that mattered to them was getting the word out, and I knew that in my heart. I knew it, but I can't say the same for Nate, right? It wasn't good enough for him to just teach the word, because when you if you remember, some brothers may not even remember this, but he used to be out there, him and I forget Barack Shah, I want to say his name was out there on the highways and byways with a little karaoke machine, and they wouldn't even give the full lessons because they was charging for them, right? So if they were really about the word, you'd give it for free, right? All right, so let me continue on. That was just my little testimony. It says this: "And greetings in the markets to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But be not ye called Rabbi, for one is your master, even Hamashiach, and all ye are brethren. And call no man your father upon earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. Neither be ye called masters, for one is your master, even Hamashiach. But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant, and whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted." Right? So here's what I want to get down to, right? It says this: "But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, for ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in." Now this word here, hypocrites, is something that you're going to see in every verse succeeding, right? Hypocrites. Maybe not every verse, right? But in the same message, look, hypocrites, 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 hypocrites. And this was, you see the exclamation on it. So he was like, "You hypocrites." He was yelling at them, man. "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites." Right? So let me look up this word real quick. Hippocrates.
Strong's G 5273. Hypocrites. Hypocrites.
All right. One who answers, an interpreter, an actor, a stage player, a dissembler, pretender, a hypocrite. And that's what they were, pretenders, man. Do you think that, Nathaniel was willing to lay down his life for this truth? I don't think so. I don't see it, So let me read a couple of these, and then I'll go ahead and get out of here. So this is "But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees," verse 13, Salagia, "hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, for ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer, therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation." Okay, it says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves." Now, you tell me. Now, I'm a living example of it. The elder apostles didn't come to Boston to come get me, or the elder Adama. We saw it on YouTube and traveled down there week after week to go hear the word, man. But you look at Nate's camp, right? They're in Jamaica, they're in Africa, they're, if you see them on social media, they on boats and yachts and having a grand old time, right? Which shows you where their heart is, The Lord Yahweh Shai, when he was on the earth, wasn't on no private jet or no private boat, I should say. You know, spent a lot of time alone by himself in meditation and prayer, stressed out, dealing with niggas, you know. So I think the point was made, man. I didn't mean to go this long on just this part, but it is what it is. Lord's will, I'll do this next part of it tomorrow. Yeah, man. You know, Nate is a demon. Simply put, he's a demon, and it would behoove those of you who are really sincere about the Lord Yahweh Shai. You know, let me say it this way: are really serious about Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Wadash, who are really serious about it and really are seeking for the Lord to get away from them. And I want to say I ain't telling you to come to GMS, but I am saying that, you know, because here you're gonna get the truth. You're gonna get the truth, and you're gonna learn how to do this thing in decency, right? As a man should do this work. You'll learn that very quickly, that there's expectations of you here, and expectations can't do anything but grow you. All right, so with that, I've talked long enough. I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS who rule well. Honor and salutation to those of you who are of the elect, hopeful elect. And with that, I say shalom.